Hey guys, I'm Adrian and welcome back to the weekend recap every Monday, man. You're always joining me and I really do appreciate it. Exciting news! With the return of the Champions League, so do our watch-alongs. If you're familiar, we all basically watch the Champions League together. No, I can't broadcast the match itself, of course, because of copyright, but you watch on your end, I watch on my end, and we all chat and banter together. It's a great time. We ask questions, we give our analysis, all sorts of stuff. So, in the meantime, let's go to Spain. FC Barcelona continue to beat up on the bottom half teams, and that sounds like me slandering Barcelona or discrediting them, but it's not at all. This is something that you would expect of Barcelona in the old days, but wasn't a guarantee in recent history. So that in itself is a step in the right direction, and they can only beat who's in front of them, am I right? This weekend, the superb form of both Lionel Messi and Francisco Trincão continued. They each grabbed a brace. Griezmann had a brace of assists, and what was lovely to see was, of course, 18-year-old Ilkay Gundogan making his first appearance for the club and his first start, actually, and grabbing an assist for Trincão's opener in the meantime. Moriba is an extremely promising player, just turned 18 last month, came to Barcelona from the rivals Espanyol, and is largely considered to be the next big thing out of La Masia. Let's hope that academy gets on their feet again, because it's so sad to see what's happened to that historic institution. After a lengthy spell on the sidelines, David Silva is back with Real Sociedad, and wouldn't you know it, 2 matches in his return have seen Sociedad win both. Wow, that was choppy. What a presence he has on the pitch, though, and what a recent run of form from Alexander Isak. The Swedish striker has scored 4 goals in his last 3 appearances, and he's starting to show that quality he's always sort of threatened to unleash. Atletico Madrid had a tough match against Granada this weekend after drawing with Celta Vigo earlier in the week, but 2 of the most important pieces of their attack came out to ensure a victory for them. As highlighted in a video on Atletico that I did recently, Marcos Llorente has been a godsend for Simeone, though perhaps not in the way he was expected to be. As the defensive midfielder has adapted beautifully to the Atletico attack, he scored the opener, and following Yangel Herrera's equalizer, Llorente set up another important piece in Simeone's attack in Angel Correa for what would be the winner. Typically, Correa is coming off of the bench. He started this one, and he got a goal. Atletico are now undefeated in 10 matches. The only better run of form in the league is through Barcelona. Another side that is continuing to impress me as time goes on, Sevilla. They got a win this weekend at home against Huesca, a team that is bottom of the table but really doesn't play like a bottom of the table team. They rarely get smashed by their opponents. They always put up a good fight. But if I was to equate their fortunes to another bottom of the table club, it would be Sheffield. Bottom of the league, but it almost doesn't seem to check out for some reason, based on their performances at least. Game by game, they don't seem like a really terrible club. Sevilla won 1-0 against Huesca with Munir El Haddadi continuing his strong form of late with a goal, 2 in his last 3 matches. Real Madrid got a victory over Valencia this weekend as their injury-ravaged squad got the victory thanks to goals from Benzema and Cruz. The classic Cruz, Casemiro, and Modric midfield strikes again. But hey, considering all of the injuries Real Madrid have, Zidane will just be happy that they came out of this match with a victory, and a pretty comfortable one at that. Valencia never really threatened. Madrid, with most of the opportunities, solid win. Villarreal disappointed themselves once again, man. A team that I really thought was going to give the top 3 some challenges alongside Sevilla, and they're letting themselves slip down the standings further and further every week, it feels like. With what could have been perceived as a 7-match unbeaten run was changed to a 5-match winless run with their loss against Real Betis this weekend. Real Betis is a decent side this year under Pellegrini, of course, but 12 draws from Villarreal is certainly frustrating from them. And now with the loss, you just hope for their sake that they can stop the skid and start winning some matches, because they are in dire need of that. In the meantime, Real Betis is looking better and better. Following that 3-2 loss to Barcelona last week, Fekir and Barcelona-bound Emerson grabbed the goals for Pellegrini's team. 2 on the final after a Gerard Moreno penalty made it nervy for Betis, but they saw it through. Atletico still has a 5-point lead with 2 matches in hand over Real Madrid. Barca can go level with Real if they win their match in hand. While questions over his job security remain somewhat strangely, if you ask me, Gennaro Gattuso's Napoli got a massive victory at home this weekend against his former teammate at AC Milan, Andrea Pirlo, and his Juve side. It definitely wasn't a beautiful victory for Napoli, as they were chasing this match from the outset and largely benefited from some poor finishing from Juve, mixed in with heroics from Alex Meret in goal, while Napoli's goal came from the penalty spot. Ronaldo missed 2 huge opportunities, Morata missed one as well. I suppose one bright spot for Juve was how Chiesa continues to settle into the squad and flourish, but the loss must have felt especially harsh. But I mean, that's football. You gotta finish the chances you have. Napoli did that, Juve didn't. In some respects, I guess it was an okay weekend to have lost. Somehow, as the Spezia surge continues. After a poor November and December in which Spezia won just a single match, they have won 4 of their last 7 now, including this weekend against league leading AC Milan. 2-0 was the final in this one, as Milan never really looked like scoring. In fact, they didn't have a single shot on target in this game, which is a wild thing to consider for the side that has led the league for so long this season. Shout out to Maggiore and Bastoni for getting their first goals for Spezia this season, the 12th and 13th scorers for that side. That ranks amongst the top as far as the number of individual scorers goes for Serie A clubs. Cagliari, the poor bastards, still can't get a win as they nearly held on for a point against Atalanta before 2 substitutes and Alexei Miranchuk and Luis Muriel linked up in the 90th for what was the winner. Solid ball forward from Miranchuk, but the magic from Muriel to split the defenders was very tasty. Further heartbreak for Cagliari. They had a penalty cancelled in the 95th minute after Rugani went down, but upon reviewing it, you could see that Derun got his foot on the ball in front of Rugani's foot as Rugani was looking to strike the ball, so he struck right through Derun's foot. Close call, 1-0 Atalanta, heartbreaker for Cagliari. Roma and Paulo Fonseca continue on a solid path in spite of, as Gab Marcotti pointed out, the administrational circus that is surrounding him. This weekend they won 3-0 at home against Udinese. Jordan Vertut at the double as he takes his league tally up to 9 and goes level with Mkhitaryan in the Roma top scoring race. Dzeko and Pedro came on in the second half and those two combined in stoppage time to make it 3-0, keeping Roma in the title race. Fiorentina were bested by Ranieri's Sampdoria side this weekend 2-1 as Cesare Prandelli's Fiorentina are still trying to find their feet under their second manager of the season. A positive for them, another solid showing from 21-year-old Dusan Vlahovic. And I'm starting to wonder how long he'll be staying with this Fiorentina side that is floundering this season, sitting 7 points above the drop at the moment. Of course, still time to find some form, and a dip mid-season is sort of par for the course with Fiorentina, but he definitely seems like a player that bigger Italian clubs could move for. For some reason, Roma seems like a fit for me. Dzeko seemingly on his way out. Mayoral could use some support. Zaniolo coming back from a massive injury could be a spot. And Inter took on Lazio in the blockbuster match of the weekend in Italy, well, alongside Juve and Napoli, of course. That was another big one. And this match was the Lukaku show. 2 goals for him, plus an outrageous assist for Lautaro Martinez' open goal tap-in, gave Inter a mammoth 3-1 win over Lazio, snapping Inzaghi's great unbeaten run and taking first place off of their San Siro cohabitants. Lukaku scored his 300th goal of his career, so shout out to him. So Inter is in first by a single point, Roma 7 points behind, Juve in 4th, and Napoli and Atalanta not too far off either. Things continue to stay tight at the top in France as we saw Lille play out a 0-0 draw with Stade Brestois. Bit of an unintentional rhyme there, so apologies for the cringe. A frustrating one for Lille as they had 14 attempts and not a single one on target. Brest has become a bit of a bogey team for them. They lost to Brest 3-2 when they played in November, actually. Luckily for them, however, a few of their title rivals hit some bumps along the way this weekend as well, such as Lyon, who lost 2-1 at home against Montpellier, and a nightmare match for Anthony Lopes as his weak hand in the 65th minute dropped the ball directly into the path of Wahi to make it 2-1 Montpellier. If he just lets that ball go out, it's a goal kick. He didn't need to get involved, but oh well. AS Monaco and FC Lorient played out a thriller that ended 2-2. What a string of results for Lorient lately, no? Across all competitions, they are unbeaten in 6 matches, which is superb. They beat PSG 2 weeks ago, held Rennes, and held one of the top performing sides in the league in Monaco this weekend, so bravo to them. And they were minutes away from the full 3 points if not for Wissam Ben Yedder scoring his second of the match and what was the equalizer in the 92nd minute. Ben Yedder is on track to have a career high as far as goals go. His previous record was 18 in his final season with Sevilla. He's already at 13 with 13 matches remaining in the season. Stade Rennais continue to drop as their form sits at 4 matches without a win following their loss to Saint-Etienne. Two teams who, despite the disparity between their league positions, Rennes in 5th and Saint-Etienne in 15th, are heading in opposite directions form-wise. Saint-Etienne now have 3 wins, a draw and a loss in their last 5 matches. They've done an excellent job of putting some space between themselves and the relegation playoff spot, so come on, keep it going, les Verts. And finally, PSG was able to close the gap, or I guess since they played earlier, they put pressure on the rest as they won 2-1 against Nice on Saturday. Opening scorer for PSG, Julian Draxler. Remember him? He's the guy that was great in FIFA back in the day. And he's also a sometimes player for PSG apparently, as he got just his 6th start of the season from his 13th appearance, but his 3rd goal, so not a bad return as far as scoring goes. We saw Icardi and Moisekin start out there, given that the likes of Neymar and Angel Di Maria are unavailable, and Icardi turns setup man to Ken for what would be the winner in the second half. 2-1 PSG, they sat atop the table momentarily before Lille got that draw to go 1 point clear. No longer as comfortable for them, that's for sure. Germany was strange this weekend as wins were very scarce. Granted, Bayern only plays today, so 1 match is yet to be played, but of the 8 matches played, 9 of them ended in draws. Bayer Leverkusen and Mainz played out a 2-2 draw, while Dortmund and Hoffenheim shared the same scoreline at 2-2. By the way, nice goal from Sancho, whose form is heading in the right direction once again, and it's very refreshing to see that because the man looked like a shadow of himself. What is never refreshing for Dortmund fans is seeing their side have a mid-match collapse as they did against Hoffenheim, in which Munas Dabur and Babu had turned the match on its head from 1-0 down to 2-1 up away to Dortmund, only for Erling Haaland to ruin that for them. Haaland's 15th goal, but 15 from 16 matches with just 15 starts, that's not bad form at all. What's up, Editor Adrian here. Just thought I would quickly interject to say that this morning, as I'm editing this video, as I am editing the Bundesliga portion of this video, Borussia Mönchengladbach sent out a very somber tweet that said, Marco #Rosa has opted to leave Gladbach at the end of the season and join Borussia Dortmund, #Die Fohlen. I mean, this is something that we saw coming from a mile away. We spoke about it back in December with Manuel Veth and Josh from JJD TV. It always seemed likely, and now it has been announced. Okay, back to the normal stuff. Normal guy, normal Adrian. Someone he's contending with for second place in the Bundesliga scoring charts, Mr. Andre Silva of Eintracht Frankfurt. Silva and his squad were one of the 2 teams to get the full 3 points this weekend in Germany as they beat Köln 2-0. Unfortunate for Marcus Gisdol and co as they couldn't manage to make it 3 wins on the trot, but so long as they don't have a losing relapse, they'll be safe. RB Leipzig got a victory over FC Augsburg as Christopher Nkunku's purple patch of form continued this week. A double from Leipzig in the first half, a goal from the spot for Dani Olmo, and Nkunku rolling one slowly past the keeper. It kind of looked like a mistake, to be honest. It looked like he didn't really mean to do that, but hey, it worked, and it was a great assist from Yusuf Poulsen. The assist made up for the finish. Solid win for Leipzig as they cut the lead down to 4 points for the time being, ahead of Bayern's match against Arminia Bielefeld. Today, Frankfurt are in 3rd, Wolfsburg 4th, Leverkusen 5th, and Dortmund and Gladbach are level now on 33 points apiece. It was a weekend of absolute joy for Manchester City, wasn't it? For their part, they played Spurs at the Etihad, one of the 2 teams to have defeated Manchester City this season, and they definitely did not let that happen again. I mean, Harry Kane had the first dangerous attempt of the match as his free kick rang off of the post, but it was City who went ahead after Højbjerg bundled into Gundogan and Rodri converted from the ensuing penalty. That wasn't the last of Gundogan, however, as his roving runs forward paid dividends for the umpteenth time as Sterling played a lovely little pass into his path to roll past Lloris, and later he took the ball down well, turned Sanchez absolutely inside out. The man thought he was back in Amsterdam with how much he was spinning, and then rolled it into the corner. Gundogan having a hand in all 3 goals, scoring twice and winning a penalty, and it's safe to say that Gundogan is in his best form yet at City, arguably the best form of his career. I mean, he was great at Dortmund as well. I didn't watch him as much when he was at Dortmund, but he feels like he's a different beast at the moment. Mind you, like I said, didn't watch him as much at Dortmund, so I could be talking out of my ass. For Sanchez, it was a very, very forgettable night, a poor showing from him. And let's hope his confidence isn't absolutely on the floor after that, because it's hard to come back from. An assist from Ederson for the 3rd goal, I mean, that should never be happening. He completely misread the bounce of the ball. Also, we saw a sign of life from Bale. perhaps it's time for Mourinho to start him more often, try to find some form. Anyway, the other side of Manchester struggled against West Brom, finishing the match at 1-1, and while West Brom had the better chances in the second half, and could have won it if not for some better finishing, Harry Maguire also could have won it for United, but unfortunately, his header banged off the post. But hey, well, United's performance was poor. Bruno Fernandes scored another beauty, so I mean, there's that. Arsenal took on Leeds, and while their second half left a lot to be desired, this was overall a massive positive for Arsenal. 4-2 they won. 4-2 the final for Arsenal as Bielsa's beautiful football strikes again, a hat-trick for Aubameyang, further excellent play from Saka and Emile Smith-Rowe. They were excellent, that assist that Smith-Rowe got for Aubameyang's third. Some promising moments from Odegaard as well. Good stuff ahead of their epic clash with a struggling SL Benfica, who tied this weekend again. Liverpool are continuing their slump. When Mane hit 300 appearances for the club, Leicester hit 3 past Alisson in just 7 minutes. Alisson really is in some rotten form at the moment. That happens to players sometimes though, man. Doesn't take away from the fact that he's an excellent keeper. I mean, it's not out of the ordinary when you look at the form of the entire Liverpool squad that he's out of form also, you know? What a crazy match though. Liverpool largely dominating away to Leicester for most of it. If they don't have that breakdown, you could argue it's a turning point for them if they went on to win 1-0 away to Leicester, a top side. But Maddison, Vardy, who loves scoring against the top opposition, doesn't he? And Barnes getting the goals for Leicester as they, for my money at least, firmly established themselves as the second best team in England behind City at the moment. Everton continue to weird me out, man. They can't seem to get an extended run of good form, and yet if they win their matches in hand, they'll be in the top 4. But anyways, Everton lost to Fulham this weekend 2-0, a brace from Josh Maja, giving Fulham a big 3 points as they look to claw their way out of the relegation zone. Southampton continued their skid as Wolves beat them to jump over them in the standings. Burnley got another big 3 points with a big 3-0 win over Crystal Palace, and Chelsea only play today, meaning City have a 7-point lead with a match in hand still. United and Leicester are level. Liverpool are just barely holding on to 4th with Chelsea breathing down their necks. And that's all, my friends. I thank you once again for joining me. And if you can, make sure you join us for the Champions League watch-alongs. I'm Adrian. This is Rabona TV, and take care. Ciao.